Welcome to the Iowa State University Intramural Flag Football Referee Training Presentation. This presentation is going to go over some of the main rules of flag football and help our referees determine what they should be looking for while they're refereeing a game and some of the most common scenarios and penalties that they're going to see. To start the game, you'll grab a captain from each team. You'll put an even or odd number behind your back and have one of the captains guess. Whichever team wins the toss has the option to choose to defer, receive, kick, or choose which direction they want to go. Whoever doesn't choose in the first half then has the opportunity to choose what they want to do in the second half. There's no jewelry allowed that is deemed dangerous, so if we see something such as hoop earrings, necklaces, or bracelets, it's our responsibility to make sure we do not let that player play until the jewelry is removed. We don't allow any spikes or metal cleats, or metal spikes or metal cleats, no sandals, no steel-toed boots, but they are allowed to wear molded cleats or tennis shoes. Also, anything that could grab somebody's hand or fingers, such as belt loops, pockets, or drawstrings, we don't want to allow that to be on the field either. Game length, we play two 20-minute halves with about a 3 to 4 minute halftime in between. Each team has one timeout per half, but they do not carry over. It's a continuous clock until the last 2 minutes of only the second half. And the clock stops in those last 2 minutes of the second half only if they run out of bounds, there's an incomplete pass, on touchdowns, if there's a penalty being administered, or on first downs. But on a first down, if the ball is inbounds, the clock will start once the head referee blows the ready for play whistle. If there's an overtime game, the captain who didn't call the toss at the beginning of the game will call this toss, and the winning captain will have the option to play either offense or defense first, or they can choose which end of the field they want to play. Each team will have the opportunity to start first and goal from their 10-yard line. Each team is guaranteed a possession on offense unless a defensive team intercepts the ball and returns it for a touchdown, and in essence, they would win the game and wouldn't need an opportunity to play offense. Some of the most common penalties you're going to see in flag football, this is a brief list, this is not all-inclusive, but the most common ones would be an encroachment or offsides by the defensive team or a false start by the offensive team. And for both these 5-yard penalties, it's going to be a dead ball. You're going to kill it right away and blow your whistle and penalize the teams. Every other penalty will be a live ball penalty, which means you'll just throw the flag at the spot where the penalty took place, and you'll administer the penalty once the play is over. Other 5-yard penalties that you might see are illegal forward passes or intentional grounding. Some of the bigger ones usually involve some type of contact. We try to avoid as much contact as possible in flag football, so 10-yard penalties might include illegal blocking, illegal defensive contact, flag darting, defensive and offensive pass interference, and roughing the passer. Our flag football field looks similar to this. It's a 100-yard field with 20 yards in between each line. So we have a 20-yard or a quarter line, a 40-yard midline, and a 20-yard quarter line before they reach the end. We don't have kickoffs, so when a team scores a touchdown, the opposing team will then start at the 10-yard line, or to start a game, we start at the 10-yard line. And then we have zone lines to gain. That's how teams gain first downs. We don't do first and 10 or anything like that. It's always a zone line to gain. So the 20, the 40, and the 20 are all the first down zone lines to gain. If to start the game, they start from the 10-yard line, they would have first and 10, and they'd have to go to the 20 to get a first down. Now, there's a chance that if they start with the ball on the 40, that they could have first and 20 yards to go to the next zone line to gain. Or if on a play they run to the 21-yard line, they might only have 1 yard, first down and 1 yard to gain. So it all depends on where they're at and where the next zone line to gain is. PAT attempts would be from the 3 or the 10-yard line. If they want to go from the 3-yard line, that's worth 2 points. If they want to go for 3 points, that would be from the 10-yard line. Something that may come up from time to time is if the ball crosses the zone line to gain, and then we have, say, a flag guard penalty at that spot. Where is the next is that a first down, and where would the next first down zone line gain to be? In this case, if the penalty is accepted, you would replay the down, and the line of the game would still be the 40-yard line. So you would take off the 10-yard penalty for the flag guard, move it back, and the zone line game would still be the 40, and you would replay that down. Each referee on the field has their own specific responsibilities. For example, the referee for the field, or the lead official, at the snap, their main responsibilities are the blocking up front and the quarterback. So they're in charge of making sure the line people are blocking and charging correctly, and they're in charge of the safety of the quarterback. So if the quarterback rolls out, the referee rolls with him. The L1 line judge, one of the referees is going to be in charge of the offensive team, and the other one's going to be in charge of the defensive team at the snap. So L1 here would be in charge of the blue offensive team at the snap, looking for false starts. And then after the snap, they're going to drift down the field with the receivers and cover their half of the field all the way down the field. Similarly, L2, they're going to have the defensive team at the snap, make sure they don't go off sides before the ball snapped. And once the ball snapped, they are going to drift down the field with their receivers on their side, and they're going to cover the other half as the receivers go down the field looking for the pass. As we said with the line of scrimmage, each official has a line of scrimmage, so the offense is going to be behind one cone, the defense will be behind the others. Neither team may jump across their line of scrimmage at any time. Players cannot jump back on sides. This is not like college or pro where they can cross and jump back. Anytime the offensive moves over the line, moves first, or the defensive moves into the neutral zone, it's a dead ball penalty with a flag. We kill the play, and we assess the penalty at that time. Offsides here, the defense crossed over into the neutral zone before the ball was snapped, so the referees throw the flag and kill that immediately and assess the penalty. False starts is when the offense goes. Offensive move early, so the referees throw the flag, and they would mark off 5 yards from that spot on backwards on the offensive team. The other big responsibility for the two line judges is to be spotting the ball. So anytime the ball goes down the field and is caught or ran and the flags are pulled, the two people on the sides need to know where the ball is going to be spotted at. So it's their job to follow the play, and when the flags are pulled, they need to line up across the field where the ball is so the person spotting the ball knows where to put the ball for the next snap. So on this play, they're going to throw a pass, they're going to run a little bit. The line judge on the left side there marks the spot and stays there so the head referee coming up to spot the ball knows where to put it for the next play. The referee for the next play will then spot the ball with the cones. They're going to put the offensive cone down and then take 2 big steps, or about 3 yards in between the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage for the neutral zone. They'll go back and sound the ready for play whistle once they get back into their spot. Snapping the ball, we do not allow direct snaps, so they can't get under center and take a snap like that. The player receiving the snap must be at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. One way to snap the ball is a traditional snap between the legs, so they can get down and snap it between the legs, and that way is legal. The other way that we allow is for a player to be just down on one knee and just kind of flip the ball back to the quarterback, as long as that quarterback is at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Screen blocking is a big part of flag football. In order to screen block, the defender must try to avoid contact with the blocker in any way. The blocker then may not initiate contact by moving into that defender. The blocker may move to gain position. Essentially, it's kind of like setting a screen in basketball, where the defense can't run through the offense, but the offense can kind of shuffle around to prohibit the defender from getting to the quarterback. A legal screen block would look something like this. The offensive player is going to shuffle their feet, not initiate contact. The defender is trying to go around the offense, isn't initiating any contact with the offense. So that is proper screen blocking and a proper way to rush the quarterback on the defensive side as well. What can't the defense do? They can't do a swim move. So they can't run up to the offense player and push and swim by him. That's going to be a penalty. Again, they're throwing the flag at the spot where that foul occurred. The defender cannot bull rush or use his hands and try to run through the offensive player. Again, that's a penalty. We'll throw the flag at the spot where that foul happened, and we'll assess the penalty at the end of the play. The offense, in return, cannot as well use their hands to block the defender, so they can't go out and initiate contact with that defender. That'll be a flag. Sometimes the offensive player will try to stick out their knee or their leg to trip a defender as they're trying to go around them. That is not legal either. And finally, the offensive player cannot initiate contact and displace the defender, so they can't run into them and try to push them out of the way. That would be a flag at the spot where that foul occurred. In this short clip, you're going to see two fouls. We're going to focus on the center. The first one is he's going to initiate illegal offensive contact with the defender, and then we're going to look for, after the interception, he's going to tackle the intercepting team's person, which is also a penalty. You have to go for the flag. So keep your eye on the center. He's number 72 in yellow. He's going to snap the ball. He's going to see the defender rush. He chucks the first guy out of the way, which is a penalty on him. And then after the interception, he goes in for the tackle instead of pulling the flags, and then the flag comes in. So those are two things that we got to look for. First, the offensive contact, and also the unnecessary roughness of tackling the ball carrier. All players on the field are eligible receivers. The passer may not catch his or her own untouched pass, but if it's deflected, they can then catch the pass. Only one foot or body part is required to be in bounds for it to be a completed pass. However, if the first body part or foot touches the out-of-bounds line, it is then incomplete. There's only one forward pass permitted per down. The passer must be behind the line of scrimmage and not have already crossed the line of scrimmage. You can backward pass or lateral as many times as you'd like and basically anywhere on the field. An example of an illegal forward pass would be this. A lot of people think that if you forward pass but you're still behind the line of scrimmage that you can throw it again. That is not legal. Once that ball is passed forward, you cannot throw a second forward pass. What would be an example of a legal second forward pass is if they throw a backwards lateral behind the line of scrimmage. He can then throw that second pass there, and that would be a legal pass since the first one went backwards and he was still behind the line of scrimmage. Fumbles. The ball is dead anytime the ball touches the ground. So if they're snapping the ball here between their legs and it hits the ground on the snap, it's going to be a dead ball, and we're going to spot it where the ball hit the ground. Similarly, if they're going to run and try to lateral it backwards, the ball hits the ground, our referee's there to spot the ball right where that ball hit the ground, and that will end the play. You also can't use the ball to touch the ground and help yourself keep your balance. So if they're running and have the ball in hand and touch the ground to help keep their balance, that also kills the play. Again, anytime, even when the ball's in the runner's hand, anytime the ball touches the ground, the ball is dead. Flag guarding will be one of the other major penalties that you need to look for as an official. A player cannot use their hands, arms, or ball to block the defender from trying to grab the flag belt. The whole purpose of flag football is to have the defender the opportunity to grab the flag belt. So when a ball carrier is running, if they use their hand to slap the defender's hand away, that's a flag guard. We throw the flag at the spot where the flag guarding occurred, but we do not blow our whistle. We let the play continue and then assess the penalty at the end of the play. Again, flag guarding would be a 10-yard penalty from the spot where it occurred if the penalty is accepted. A player can also not stiff arm. So if the defender is trying to grab the flags, you cannot push or stiff arm away. Again, that's illegal contact there as well. Similarly, they cannot use the little duck move to try to block their flag belt. So if the little dip there, as the defender tries to grab their flag belt, that would be a flag guard as well. Legal running form, what we try to encourage players to do would be to kind of run with the ball above their shoulders or above their head and outreached. That should help avoid many types of flag guarding. The reason you can run like that is because there's no stripping or striking at the ball in flag football, so if the player has the ball and is running with it, the defender is not allowed to come and try to force a fumble or strip the ball out of their hands. That would be a penalty at that spot where they tried to do that. So they cannot grab the ball, strip the ball, strike the ball, force a fumble from the offensive team. Similarly, roughing the passer, the defender cannot take the ball out of the quarterback's hand. They can't hit the arm when they're throwing. They can't knock the quarterback down when they're throwing. We try to protect the passer just like in regular football, so any contact with that passer, other than the defender going for the flag belt, will be a roughing the passer penalty, which is 10 yards and an automatic first down. If the runner's flag belt falls off before it's pulled, it's a one-hand touch above the waist for the defense. So right now when his flag belt fell off, right now all the defense has to do is hit him with one hand, and that will be where the play ends. The defensive team must try to grab flags. It is illegal to try to force a runner by pushing them out of bounds. Again, they must make an attempt to grab the flag belt as that runner's running. If they don't make an attempt and push them out of bounds, that's an unnecessary roughness penalty and a flag 10 yards from the end of the run. There is no diving allowed by the ball carrier. If a player purposefully leaves their feet and dives, the ball is spotted at the spot where the player left their feet. This is going to be a judgment call by our officials. If they're pushed or bumped down and leave their feet, that would be okay. If they purposefully dive, like as in this case, to gain a line, the ball will be dead and will be placed back where the player left their feet. So in this case, it would be spotted back at about the 3-yard line where he started to dive. Punting. On fourth down, the referee will ask the offensive captain if the team wants to try for the first down or if they want to punt. The decision will be announced to the defense, and we will need to give the defensive team enough time to align themselves accordingly. On the punt, no team may move until the ball is kicked. The kicking team must remain behind their line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked, and also the receiving team may not rush or cross their line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked. You may only return the ball if it is caught in the air. If the ball touches the ground, the ball is dead at that spot, and that will be where the offensive team begins. As you can see here, the red team is going to punt. The red team won't leave their line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked, and the yellow team can't rush. They try to catch it. If the ball hits the ground there, that's where our official marks the spot, and that's where the yellow team will begin first down to the next zone line to gain. When a team punts, there's something called a spot pass that the receiving team can do. A pass is allowed on a punt return by the player who catches the kick. When the player catches the punt, they have the option to throw the ball, or they can also then decide to run with it as well. The player can only throw a pass if they don't run with the ball first. If they decide to throw the spot pass and the pass is incomplete, the ball will be placed at the spot where the pass was attempted. So if a team decides to do a spot pass, it's important for us officials to make sure we know where the pass came from, just in case it's incomplete, that we know where we put the ball back to spot it for the team to take over on offense. Spot pass looks something like this. The red team is going to kick it. The yellow team is going to catch the punt in the air and not go forward. And then he's going to find a receiver, throw it, and when that guy catches it, it will be down wherever they pulled their flags at that point is where we'll spot the ball. Now again, if the ball was incomplete, we will take it back to where that pass originated, and that's where they will start. In flag football, as an official, here's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid having referees not in position and making other referees make the call for them. So in this play, we're going to have a 30-yard pass down the field. Our line judge referee is late getting down there, kind of jogs in to spot the ball, and as he spots it short, the lead official calls it a touchdown, and that's what the line judge does. So again, here's the play again. You can see the line judge again is late getting down there. This is why it's so important for that line judge to drift down the field with the play so they can get in the spot to determine whether the ball was across the end zone line for a touchdown or if they pulled the flags off before. We do not want the lead official 30 yards away making this call for our line judge. There is a mercy rule. If a team is ahead by 19 or more points at or inside the 2-minute mark of the second half, the game will be over. We appreciate everything that you do. We can't have flag football without you guys officiating the games for us. If you guys ever have any questions regarding any rules of flag football or scenarios, feel free to contact Russ Jones or Nathan Pick, and we'd be glad to talk things over with you. We hope you have a great flag football season, and again, we appreciate everything that you do for our flag football intramural season.